Hey guys, it's Kusi. Welcome back to our second episode of this healer edition of Zero to Hero. In the last episode, we spun the wheel to decide our spec of choice, which turned out to be not only the class I never played in my life, it's apparently also the spec that is least played on the healer side of things. Well, at least according to Red.io. But since we are no stranger to unloved specs in this game, we charged this challenge face first. So we leveled up, did our weekly chores, gotten rather lucky already with the Blossom of Amelios seal, and then ended our episode with an item level of 443 after getting ourselves a ring crafted as well. Yet with already our weekly LFR out of the way, this episode will be full-blown dungeons in an attempt to steal as much loot as possible and to get to our 4th set ASAP. Because after all, we need to figure out how to heal first if we want to have this done successfully. So without further ado, if you're new here, leave a like, grab a drink, get comfy, and welcome to episode 2. This episode starts with our very first key, that is Galakronds 5, and the key for us was to figure out how to heal and get used to the buttons. For me personally, I believe to have the basics down so far, but I need to experiment for myself on how to handle stressful situations. But the main thing I need to look out for is that I need to stay healthy at all times. Oh wow, you self-loving wiener, why care for yourself first? I bet you shouted at your screen. Easy answer. Our mastery. Lifebinder increases the healing done by our actual mastery amount to targets that have lower percentage based health than we do. To call this important would be an understatement in my opinion. The other thing I need to get used to is setup. Pretty much all of our AoE healing is based on Echo, besides the exception of Dream Breath and Emerald Blossom, which heal 5 targets regardless. But, big but in fact, those two spells also synergize with Echo as well. How do we apply Echoes? First, we got the spell itself, Echo. Second way is with the talent combination of Temporal Anomaly and Resonating Sphere, which sends an Echo with 30% effectiveness to everyone hit in the party. Keep in mind, this always hits you as well. One more way to apply those is by random, once we gotten our tier set. This I figured out after I re-cleared LFR for the second week while checking on the tier set in the Adventures guide. This is actually pretty cool since the 2 set just sends out extra healing passively, while the 4 set is also just passively sending out echoes. You love to see it. Now with that out of the way, I will quickly just mention the only 2 affix that affect us this episode, Fortified and Entangling. As most of you know, Fortified increases health and damage done by every trash mob in the dungeon, while Entangling tries to bully you with countless attempts to make you trip over your own feet. If you're struck by it, make sure to leave the area or use an ability that frees you from movement impairing effects. Now, Galakronds on the +5 is not really that scary. As I learned on our latest 0 to 3k on the Feral, the only places that hurt are the trash bags between first and second boss and the staircase. Why do I know that? Because I died to it often. Yet as a healer, we aren't allowed to dirt nap anymore, and with that, we will now sweat every damn dungeon like it's for the rank 1 title. But first, I had some mad issues with the weak aura that gives me informations about upcoming spells. It overlapped with my party frames and annoyed me a lot. Reckon I will need to change my interface then. Yet, so far no deaths. I know, shocker. So the tank tried to limit test my ability to heal stressful situations, and because I didn't disable the weak aura yet, it completely freaked out. And yes, I absolutely blame that on the weak aura and not on my own lack of gameplay. What else? The rest of the dungeon went rather tame, besides us letting Black Eye die while just completely ignoring him. But hey, I didn't die, and that's the important... No, don't call me Dirtnap main. What you don't know is that I only died there so I can guarantee myself some loot for this dungeon. Cause that's how it works. Unlucky. Next up is yet another +5 and Darker Thicket, which just got absolutely rolled. None of these 3 deaths was my fault, so we move. But this is where I felt I wanted to up the game a little bit. So we applied to some +8 keys, and Throne of Tides was our next destination. A bit worried about the Gauntlet part in the end, but it's just a +8, so what can go wrong, right? And most of it went fine. The big spider lady thingy was a bit of a heal check for me, but since the damage patterns are quite stretched, I felt like I had enough time to handle the situation. Matter of fact, we went completely without deaths till we got to the mentioned Gauntlet. On pull, the hunter got blasted by all Aqua Blasts, since absolutely no one of us used kick, me included. And then the swell started to rampage through our party, with 14 stacks of the debuff that increases shadow damage taken. Now let's see what I could have done here. Anything. I got everything ready to go, besides one group heal cooldown. but I could have used a 20% damage mitigation for the party, a knock up for the mobs so they stop casting, a displacement for the mobs so they stop casting, a death cooldown for myself, as well as a death cooldown for someone else. Man, I had it all. I just panicked, to be honest. And because everyone died but the tank, who then died when everyone was back, this death farm lemming style got rewarded with 10 deaths on the board, and with that we faced the final boss. This one got played horrible with the placement of the goo and the partially not using the cleansing at all. But still done, and this rewarded me with a necklace that unfortunately is not on the champion track, so I won't use it for now. Though this was still fun, with a little bit of reality splashed in with the gauntlet, I wanted to stay on that level for now and kept applying, till I got hired for a +8 Galakronds. We interrupt this program for a quick shameless self-plug. Hey there, are you having trouble sleeping? Your lady kicked you out of the bedroom because you played too much WoW? Say no more. Instead of playing, watch it. Check out the easy digestible and highly addicting playlists of former Zero to Hero challenges on this channel. And while you're at it, leave a like or even subscribe, because this will help me out a lot. Also, I'm here to quickly remind you that there will be a live stream on Sunday the 3rd of March at 8 PM Central European Time on twitch.tv/CussySlayer, so make sure to stop by and hang out. That is it for this shameless self-plug, back to the video. Now that I need something from there again, I'm hyped to loot the big juicy stuff first week, easy peasy. And funny enough, ever since I started this week with keys, I probably seen more evokers in my party than the last couple of weeks, really showing that I was just a racist for drakes when making my parties on the feral. Now the real question is here, what is there to worry about? It's Galakronds fall after all. Oh yeah, this room. I forgot. Whenever this double debuff goes out, this can be rough. But believe it or not, no one died on my watch here, leading to our first time waste boss fight to deal with. Thankfully it's fortified after all, so this is a lot more manageable for sure. The key here, besides dodging the balls, is to ensure that the party is healthy so we can instantly dispel one of the debuffs. This way we manage to give ourselves the most time to recover the party from the first ring to survive the second. Theory is there, now let's see how it works out. Right before the debuff, the rogue died though, since he got 5 stacks of the debuff you only get when you are touched by them balls. Not sure if he could have cloaked it, but I will assume so. The rings itself went fine. Now we survived the rings, but obviously we can all hear the wheels in my head turning on what to press next. Long way to go, man. Yeah, it turns out here comes the part that totally flew under my personal radar of scary moments. Those undead drakes do some serious AoE. So much so that I had to pump, for real. Now my thought process here was to use one bigger cooldown for each pull, since I just assumed the tank pulls double drakes again. On the first one, I went with Emerald Communion, and on the second, I went with Rewind to top everyone off, ending on a solid 124k HPS. Not too bad, I'd say. On Iridikron, I totally forgot I need to heal Chromie too, and I only saw it because the Paladin was popping off on the meters. But we didn't let another blast happen and ended this run with a simple 3 chest too. Yet again, no item. I don't like this trend of me not getting rewarded instantly, man. After this one, Wakehurst Manor was on a chopping block, but because this was only a +6 and who cares about that? 3 chest, no item, go next. So at this point I had 2 goals in mind. One was to do every dungeon at least once and watch out for potential damage income traps, so I'm at least somewhat prepared for the future. The other one was to quickly advance into the +11 range of keys in order to get better gear and Worm's Crest for our future crafts. Does 11 drop champion already?
Yes.
Anyways, I applied to a bunch of keys and then got invited into another Galakronds. Need the staff, the rating, any other loot and crests, let's do it. Though I felt the pressure a little bit, mainly because the setup is something I would consider a meme, and that comes from someone who recently played Affliction and Feral. Let me introduce you to a piece of art I named A Healer's Nosebleed. Double Warrior, double Demon Hunter, stuff my sleep paralysis demon uses to torture me in the future. Now this starts with the tank telling me to save up lust for the, and I quote, first boss with ads. So you can guess I was absolutely ready to brown my trousers, if you know what I mean. Though this pull went better than expected, besides our lovely arms warrior pulling out a magic trick that I would call a cussy, by just getting his face stomped in by Chronicar. I've been there, young man. It hurts. On the rough trash we gathered 2 deaths, which is absolutely less than I expected, if I'm completely honest here, and so we go to the boss. Again, keep the party alive, dispel 1 ASAP, and then heal up before the second debuff expires. And before you complain to me about not using cooldowns here, I actually did that on purpose, because I should be able to heal it without them, since the damage income is quite manageable if I play it correctly. With that being said, I tried my best to keep Reversion, which is our hot, and the extra hot from Dream Breath up on the party at all times, to pretty much negate the damage over time that just happens there. Didn't go too bad, and at this point I really started to enjoy this class for sure. Reckon I do need a little bit of a reality check every now and then to make me realize that I'm not him, but for now, this is very enjoyable. As I'm playing more and more, I also figure out more things. For example, that Echo also triggers a full party Verdant Embrace, which is a solid quick heal that also heals for a good amount, and with the talent Lifebind, this pretty much shares 40% of all healing done. I'm telling you, this class may seem stressful and overwhelming at first, but it is fun. Whoever designed this one knew what they wanted, and they did it beautifully. Because bosses are no center of attention this week, the last thing that worried me was this. Yeah, pull all. Yet he decided to not pull all, while I decided to use all, still dying in the process with too many debuffs rolling. Blame the DPS for not kicking, so we are good. Again the boss, no problem, another solid 3-chester, and we got... Now usually I'd say that this is where we end the episode, but because I'm feeling generous, I will spoil you my little wiener dogs. Let's go to Blackrock instead. Now keen eyes will be able to tell that we got 10 deaths already, and the truth is, the beginning was wild. We overpulled big style, and I was too busy dropping my jaw at the pull that I couldn't even use Bloodlust for it. Though I did forget to record that part. Just imagine 5 lemmings running into their death repeatedly. I wonder how many of you guys still know what a lemming is. Come on, who's old in here? Also, this is the first dungeon I did after actually grabbing some water to rack mana if I needed to. Casual gamer on duty. Besides the start, this key went mighty fine. Until our tank decided he's not responsible for the spawning ads on the second boss. Leading to him leaving the big, bulky hunk of a night elf to just finger blast me Teldoshir style. However, I did find out why that was the case a bit later in the dungeon. Because all of a sudden, this happened. Tank is still alive, but what did happen? He bubbled. And now I hear some of you say, so what? He taunts every mob when he uses bubble. And you would be correct if he used a talent point for it. My man, in fact, did not skill Final Stand, and with that, bubble doesn't work as well as a last second save. Now, I would have told him that, so he can change that up in the future, but my Spanish brothers beat me to it. After that, no more bubbles, no more issues. Still a 2-chester even with 18 deaths, and this time we actually got an item. Crit Mastery and Leech on it. Never been so hard, so quick. But this, in fact, is where we will end this episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy a few insights of my thinking or of my actions, and I also welcome you now to teach me in the comments. Call out any mistakes so I can pretend like I did them on purpose. And as always, I wish you the most fantastic day whenever you see this. Until we meet in the next one. Take care.